such that you've never seen anything like it, you've never heard anything like it, and you couldn't even begin to imagine what it's like. So we're dealing with very different laws and very different realities, although we will exist in that realm in some physical form. Whether we're going to look exactly the same as we do now is a different discussion, but we will be there in our physical realities, and the pleasures that we experience will come in both physical form as well as the metaphysical form, just like in this world. In this world you have physical pleasures, like when you eat a delicious meal provided by none other than your mother. May Allah bless her and give her a long life. But the fact that your mother shows you affection and love is a spiritual pleasure that is above and beyond just the warm and nice meal that she cooked for you. That's something else. A child enjoys that much more than just the food that they've been served. But that is a different world with different laws. What happens in this dunya, and this is what I want to focus on, is more or less, for lack of a better description, an action versus reaction kind of formula. So what I want to share with you, inshallah, tonight is a hadith by Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajal faraj. The hadith is narrated by one of the close confidants of Imam Zayn al-Abidin, a man by the name of Abu Khalid al-Kabuli. He's a man from Kabul, meaning from Afghanistan. May Allah bring relief to our Afghan brothers and sisters, those who have been suffering for far too long, partly because of repression and persecution, and partly because of our own neglect of this community. Too many of them have been neglected. Too many of them don't receive as much attention as they should. And they've ended up as refugees in so-called Muslim countries, but then the persecution continues, the hardship goes on. And that's something that is deeply, deeply hurtful. But we see that there are many Afghans who are incredibly devout, incredibly religious. There are brothers and sisters, and yet, unfortunately, there isn't nearly as much attention to their welfare as there should be. Abu Khalid was one such individual who became one of the three who remained steadfast with God's religion and did not abandon the religion of Islam after the massacre of Karbala. Remember the hadith that I cited a couple of nights ago? ارتد الناس جميعا بعد قتل الحسين إلا ثلاثة. And I explained it then. One of these three was Abu Khalid al-Kabuli. He narrates the hadith, and what I'd like to do is to go through the hadith, but because we don't have enough time, I'm going to have to read it, translate it rather quickly, when in fact what we need to do is to allocate a good 10 nights to this hadith. And in fact, I've done exactly that. Many, many years ago, about 20 years ago or so, I had a series of lectures in the holy month of Ramadan called The Physics of Sin. And the focal point of these 10 nights was this hadith narrated by Abu Khalid al-Kabuli from Imam Zayn al-Abidin. Tonight I want to give you the hadith in a nutshell, and then focus on just one passage of the hadith. He says that I heard the Imam say the following: الذنوب التي تدفع التي تغير النعم. There are categories of sin which produce the same result. Again, in this dunya, we're not even talking about compensation, chastisement, punishment, akhirah. All that comes later. In this dunya, these sins have an effect, and they cause things to go wrong in our lives in very specific ways. And I want you to pay close attention. If you need to go back and refer to the hadith, I'm giving you the references here, so that you can investigate the hadith further on your own or consult a scholar, because it really does merit examining each, not just each word and each letter, but every syllable in this hadith. It is that incredible. It is that insightful and eye-opening. So the Imam provides different categories of a hadith and says that each of these categories, they cause this problem to happen in your life. Many of us find ourselves going through affliction and then wondering why this is happening. This is a great way to start. A great place to start investigating. Am I embroiled in any of these sins? Am I